Tonight we have details of the plans to honor Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the second woman ever to serve on our country's highest court. She was well known for groundbreaking civil rights cases, fighting for a woman's right to equal pay, and being one of the court's most outspoken advocates of abortion rights. She died on Friday at 87. In honor of that legacy, Justice Ginsburg will lie in repose Wednesday and Thursday at the U.S. Supreme Court. The public will not be allowed inside there. After a small ceremony with family, friends, and fellow justices Wednesday morning, her casket will be placed under the portico at the top of the Supreme Court steps for public viewing. Then on Friday, she will mark yet another milestone for women. She will lie in state at the National Statuary Hall at the U.S. Capitol, the first woman to have that honor. Next week, Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be buried in a private service at Arlington National Cemetery alongside her late husband, Martin Ginsburg.